Welcome to today's English listening practice story. This is a Level 3 English story called My Rich Sugar Daddy. Vocabulary Preview. Before we begin today's story, here are a few words you will hear. Arrangement, an agreement between people. Companionship, friendship, having someone with you. Boundaries, personal limits or rules. Inheritance, money or property received after someone dies. Gratitude, the feeling of being thankful. Now that you know the key words, let's begin our story. My name is Maya. I am 32 years old. 7 years ago, I made a choice that changed my life. A choice people judged. A choice I do not regret. I became a sugar baby to a rich older man. This is my story. When I was 25 years old, my life was falling apart. I was a single mother. My daughter, Lily, was only 4 years old. She was sick, very sick. She needed an operation, an expensive operation. I worked 3 jobs, but it was never enough. The medical bills kept coming. Thousands of dollars, then tens of thousands. I couldn't pay them. I couldn't save my daughter. One night, I sat on the floor of my tiny apartment holding those bills. I cried. I felt hopeless. My friend Jessica visited. She said, "I know a way to get money fast. Wealthy men pay for companionship, just dinners and conversation, nothing inappropriate." I felt sick, but then I looked at Lily sleeping in the next room, my dying daughter. I said, "Tell me more." She helped me create a profile on a website. Within 2 days, I got a message from a man named Richard Bennett. He was 62 years old, a businessman, widower. His message said, "I lost my wife 3 years ago. I'm not looking for romance, just someone to have dinner with, someone to talk to. I will pay $10,000 per month." $10,000. That was more money than I made in 3 months. I agreed to meet him. We met at a coffee shop. I expected someone creepy, but Richard was different. Well-dressed, kind eyes. He treated me with respect. He said, "I need someone to accompany me to business dinners, charity events, sometimes just company for dinner at home. Nothing inappropriate. I will respect your boundaries completely." I asked, "Why would you pay someone just for company?" He looked sad. He said, "Because I'm lonely. My wife was my best friend. After she died, I realized I have no one. My daughter doesn't speak to me anymore." I asked, "Why not?" He said, "I didn't approve of the man she married. We fought. She cut me off. That was 5 years ago. I haven't seen her since." I felt sorry for him. This rich, powerful man was just a lonely father. I said, "I have boundaries. No physical relationship, just companionship." He nodded. "I understand, and I respect that." We made an agreement. $10,000 per month. I would accompany him to events, have dinner with him twice a week, nothing more. At first, it felt strange, but Richard made it easy. He asked about my life, about Lily, about my dreams. He said, "What would you do if money wasn't a problem?" I said, "I would go back to school, become a nurse, help people." He smiled. "That's a beautiful dream." He paid for Lily's operation. The operation was successful. Lily got better. She started laughing again, playing again. I cried tears of gratitude. Richard gave me my daughter back. After a few months, something changed. I stopped pretending. I actually enjoyed his company. Richard was intelligent. He told stories about his life, his business, his late wife. He showed me photos of Catherine. She was the love of my life, he said. I listened while he talked about her for hours. One evening, Richard said, Maya, you remind me of Catherine, not in looks, but in heart. You listen, you care, you're genuine. I felt tears in my eyes. Thank you, Richard. He said, No, thank you. You gave me something money can't buy: companionship, friendship. That night, I realized something. This wasn't just an arrangement anymore. Richard was my friend. Months passed, then years. I went back to school. He helped me pay for it. Follow your dreams, Maya. Lily called him Uncle Richard. He loved her like a grandfather. I asked, Have you tried to contact your daughter? He said sadly, Many times. She never responds. It's been 7 years. I felt angry at this daughter who abandoned her father. One morning, Richard's assistant called. Come to the hospital. Richard had a heart attack. I rushed there. The doctor said, I'm sorry, he's gone. I fell to my knees. I cried. Richard was gone. My friend was gone. The funeral was 3 days later. I stood in the back. I didn't feel like I belonged. Then I saw her, Lauren, Richard's daughter. She walked in like she owned the place. She didn't cry. She looked annoyed. After the service, the lawyer called us into his office. The lawyer read the will. Richard Bennett leaves his entire estate to Maya Rodriguez. Everything. Lauren stood up. Her face was red with anger. What? That's impossible. I'm his daughter. She's just some gold digger he paid. The lawyer said calmly, This is his legal will. Lauren turned to me. You manipulated him. You used him. You're disgusting. I stood up. My voice was shaking. I visited him every week. I had dinner with him. I listened to his stories. I cared about him when he was lonely. Where were you? She said, I'm his daughter. I said, being his daughter means nothing if you abandon him. Richard called you every month. He wrote you letters. You never responded. You left him alone. Lauren's face went pale. He loved you. He talked about you all the time. He hoped you would forgive him, but you never did, and now it's too late. The lawyer handed me an envelope. Richard left you this letter. I opened it. Through tears, I read, My dear Maya, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. You weren't my employee. You were my family. You gave me joy in my darkest years. You listened. You cared. You were there. Use this money to help others. Build that hospital you dreamed about. And tell Lily her Uncle Richard loves her. Thank you for being my family when I had none. With all my love, Richard. I cried. Lauren stood frozen. The lawyer said, Richard wrote a letter to Lauren, too. He handed her an envelope. She read silently. Then she collapsed into a chair, crying. I don't know what the letter said, but I saw her face. I saw regret. I saw pain. After that day, I never saw Lauren again. I used Richard's money to build a children's hospital. I named it after his late wife, the Catherine Bennett Children's Hospital. I became a nurse. I help sick children like Lily. I give families hope. People call me a gold digger. They say I manipulated a lonely old man. They judge me without knowing the truth. But I know the truth. Richard wasn't my sugar daddy. He was my friend. He was my family. And sometimes family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up, who stays, who loves you when you need it most. I miss him every day, but I know he's proud of me because I'm living the dream he helped me build. What would you do in my place? Tell me in the comments below. Thank you for listening to this story. If you liked it, please like the video, share it, and subscribe to the Story Reading in English channel. Your support helps more stories reach people like you. With every story, our English gets better and our hearts get stronger.